This is a simple tool I put together as an optional assignment in Classroom. It's not actually assigned for points. It's just if you want to get more comfortable with what's happening in terms of rotations, translations, or reflections, this is a good place to work. So, a couple tools that I've placed across the top. An important one to come back to is move. It'll make it so that you're not going to be using tools you don't intend to do. So you can come back to the move tool. It's a good place to be. So I have this shape that I'm placing in the second quadrant, and if I want to, I can subject it to a reflection. So this is the reflection tool. If I activate it, it tells me select the object to reflect and then the line of reflection. So I can click this object and then I can click the y-axis and you can see it reflects across there. Same thing with the x-axis. I could select the object and reflect it across the x-axis. And I could also take it and I could reflect it across this version of it across y again. So of course what's true about these is that these are live, so as I move the shape, all the reflections stay the same. So this is what I mean by go back to this move tool, right? So I'm back at the move tool, and now I can come along and I can move these points. So you can see all the reflections are happening in real time. And just a couple observations. So when I reflect across the y-axis, notice the y values stay the same, right? Over here y was -1, and over here at the reflection y is still -1. What changed when I reflect across the y-axis is x. X goes from -9 to +9. Let's take a look at a rotation. So if I want to do a rotation, I need to tell it what I'm rotating about, and I also need to show it the center of rotation. So here's the rotation tool, and I'm just going to take this object and I'm going to rotate it around the origin, and I'll do this for 90 degrees. So you just type 90, and I'm going to go counterclockwise so you can see it goes like that. Again, it's nice to hit the tool, come back out here so I can see the whole thing. And I'll do that again. I'm going to take this object and I'm going to let's grab the rotation tool. This object around the origin, and again 90 degrees. There we go. And one last time, this object around the origin, and do so for 90 degrees. Now, one of the things that's nice to look at is there's that point I was talking about. Right? Go back to the move tool if you don't want to get some random points showing up. I'll undo that by clicking undo. There we go. And back there. So one of the things that's nice to do is to look at the patterns that are happening in the XY coordinates. So when this shape got rotated around this way, notice that that x was -8, and that x value became y, right? So I could write a mapping rule. What is x becomes y, and notice that what was y, which was +1, the opposite of that became x. And you can see that played out all the way around when I'm going counterclockwise. So take a look at this. What was x, right? What was x, -1, becomes the new y. You can see it here. What was x, 8, becomes the new y. And the other thing is what was y, the opposite of that. So it's -8. The opposite of that becomes x. Okay. What was y, -1, the opposite of that becomes x. So you can see that rule there. There's a lot you can do with these shapes to make them kind of more interesting. And you can also go in and change the color of these. So if I wanted to, I could, if you right click this and you can go to settings for this object, this menu pops over here, and I can change color, and I can make this red. I can pick this one and make it red also. So there's a lot of different ways that you can manipulate these. I think you can even change the color of the background. Graphics view. No, I don't see a way to. Those are the axes. Oh, well, I don't see a quick way. Line style, distance. No, I don't see a way to change the background. I want to change the background. Oh, maybe I can do it here. No. Right, so that's the rotation tool. So the last tool, and you can learn a lot from that rotation, right? You can, when you lock into these points and you can see, oh, you see that? That's X. That's X. It becomes Y. When I'm going counterclockwise, what was X becomes Y. And what was Y, the opposite of that becomes X. And also look at if I go 180 degrees. So from here all the way to here is a 180. X was negative 10, it becomes positive 10. Y was positive 6, it becomes negative 6. So if I'm going 180 degrees, you can see that X and Y just become opposites in sign. All right, I'm going to refresh this, go back to the default, reload the page, and let's talk about a translation. So with this original shape, if I'd like to do a translation requires a vector in GeoGebra. So here's a vector, and basically what it is you click a point and then you're over. So I'm going to go over 3 and down 4. So that's over 1, 2, 3, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can subject this to this vector. So here's the translation tool, and it says select the object to translate, then the vector. So I'm going to pick this and then the vector, right? And I can do it again. I'll pick this and then the vector. I can pick this and then the vector, although that's off the screen now. But you can see what's happening here, right? X is increasing by 3 units. So X was at negative 8, it goes to negative 5. X is at negative 5. When I increase by 3 units, it's going to go to negative 2. And Y is decreasing by 4. It was at 2, minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. So, and you can also change the vector. So I can say, well, here the vector is going to change. So now that's changing things. And also notice that if I bring the vector along, the distance between an original point and the next image of it is always going to be the same as the vector, and that's true for any of the points, even the ones that I didn't label. And of course it is live still, so you can grab this tool and you can change the shape. There we go. Alright, so those are some basic tools. You can start out and make your own polygons. You can create some different lines if you want to reflect it against different things. But this is a very nice playground for getting very comfortable with reflections, translations, and rotations.